Photograph the bike box showing all four sides with a digital camera or camera phone. Ensure a picture of the label with the serial numbers is easy to read. Carefully open the top of the box. The small box includes your owner's manual, headlight, pedals, charger box including the charger and AC adapter cable, and the assembly toolkit. The assembly toolkit includes 8 and 10, 13 and 15, and 16 and 18 millimeter wrenches, as well as the tools you'll need during assembly, including 3, 4, 5, and 6 millimeter Allen wrenches, and a Phillips and flathead screwdriver. We also recommend using flat side cutters, a pedal wrench, a bike pump with a pressure gauge, a torque wrench, bicycle grease, and a friend. Get help from a friend to lift the bike out of the box and rest it on the rear wheel and front fork protector plate. Use flat side cutters to carefully snip the zip ties that hold the front fender and wheel onto the side of the bike during shipping. Set the fender and wheel aside and recycle the packaging material where possible. Rotate the fork so that it is angling forward and the brake cable runs properly along the frame and is not twisted around the fork. Use a 5 millimeter Allen wrench to adjust the angle of the handlebar stem within the range shown on the side of the silver metal disc, torqued to 18 Newton meters. Use a 4 millimeter Allen wrench to undo the 4 bolts on the handlebar stem clamp faceplate and set these aside. Loosen the LCD display mount using a 3 millimeter Allen wrench to turn each bolt approximately 2 full turns counterclockwise. Rotate the display to allow access to the faceplate mounting bolts. Move the handlebar into position without twisting or pinching the cables. Ensure the handlebar is centered on the stem clamp. Reposition the handlebar stem faceplate and use a 4 millimeter Allen wrench to torque the 4 bolts to 6 Newton meters. At the front of the bike, locate the quick release lever, which is holding the fork protector plate in place. Have a friend stabilize the bike while you remove the skewer, keeping the lever side cone spring and other hardware in place. Pass the skewer through the front wheel axle so that the lever is on the brake rotor side of the wheel. Install the thumb nut onto the end of the skewer loosely, twisting it about 2 full turns. Lift the front fork to allow room for the front wheel. Carefully lower the front fork, ensuring that the brake rotor goes in between the pads in the brake caliper, and the axle enters the fork dropouts. Tighten the thumb nut while testing the quick release lever. Use the palm of your hand to close the quick release lever without touching the brake rotor. There should be enough resistance that the lever leaves an imprint in your palm when you close it. If installing the front wheel is difficult, use a 5 millimeter Allen wrench to widen the gap between the brake pads by turning the inner pad adjustment counterclockwise a few clicks. Once the wheel is installed, return the inner pad to its original position by using the 5 millimeter Allen wrench to turn the pad adjuster clockwise a few clicks. Before riding, have a certified, reputable bike mechanic check that the brake is properly adjusted. Starting at the back of the front wheel, thread the front of the fender over the tire and in between the fork legs until the fender mount is in front of the headlight mounting bolt. Insert the mounting bolt through the hole at the center of the fork lower. Install the rear washer, and then the lock nut. Using a 10 millimeter box wrench and 5 millimeter Allen wrench, torque the bolt until snug. Adjust the headlight and fender so that the headlight is vertical and the fender has adequate clearance over the wheel, and then torque fully to 6 Newton meters. Use a Phillips head screwdriver to loosen the headlight angle adjustment bolt. Angle the light down slightly from parallel so the light will illuminate the ground in front of the bike and does not blind oncoming traffic. Tighten the bolt securely. Align the notches on the inside of the red 2-pin connector and the small arrows on the outside of the connector and press the 2 sides together without twisting to fully seat the connection. Use a 5 millimeter Allen wrench to undo one fender clamp while keeping the backing nut in position. Wrap the clamp around the fork lower. Ensure the fender mounting bracket runs on the outside of the brake cable. Insert the bolt and tighten, leaving a small gap to ensure both sides of the clamp are parallel. Repeat on the other side, taking care not to touch the brake rotor. Visually align the fender in the center of the wheel so there is equal and adequate clearance between the fender and the tire. Apply a small amount of bicycle grease to the threads of the pedal axles. Identify the left pedal as it has grooves on the outside of the pedal's axle. Carefully thread the left pedal onto the left crank, making sure to tighten by twisting counterclockwise. Torque to 35 Newton meters using a pedal wrench. The right pedal tightens by threading in the usual way, clockwise to tighten. Visually inspect the tire to ensure the bead is evenly seated around the rim. Use a bike pump with a pressure gauge and a Schrader valve to inflate the tires between 50 and 60 psi, depending on rider preference. Open the quick release lever by swinging the lever open and outwards to about 180 degrees. Ensure the seat post clamp opening is centered on the seat tube slot. Apply a small amount of grease to the seat post and insert the post into the tube, ensuring that the minimum insertion point is inside the seat tube of the frame. To adjust the seat position forwards or backwards or change the angle, use a 6mm Allen wrench to loosen the seat adjustment bolt underneath the seat. Ensure the seat post clamp falls within the limit markings on the seat rails, and use a 6mm Allen wrench to torque the seat adjustment bolt securely to 20 Nm. Read your owner's manual fully. It contains important details related to safety and maintenance that must be understood in order to safely operate the bike. Adjust the brakes, shifter, derailleur, and properly fit the bike to the rider. See the links below for articles and other videos to help you and your local bike mechanic. Test the bike fully and have your work inspected by a certified, reputable local bike mechanic. Ride rad!